if you watch on the corner just coming up, yesterday we had an incident with an Amazon delivery van, as they do often come on Sundays. It basically lost the control of it on this corner, which was yesterday was a complete sheet of ice. You see that rail's missing, he did that, and all the really stopped him going straight over because he ran into one of the stone posts. Which was quite lucky really, although he didn't particularly want to hit a post, no doubt. But yesterday was extremely, exceptionally icy everywhere, because it had been thawing a bit the day before. Right, that was a fiddly puddly. Yeah, it had been thawing the day before, so it was extremely icy yesterday. But it appears to have all cleared in the night. I mean, we thought it was going to. You don't quite believe it, because it had been more or less below freezing, or just barely above 1 day, for more than a week. I think, what is it today? This 19th. I think it started about the 10th actually, more or less freezing. And I don't know, I should check that. But anyway, more than a week. Freezing or near freezing. But every last bit of it's gone. Well, I can see a few flecks of white. It's quite surprising. Up there on the Westerdale side, you can see some like little snowdrifts at the top. We didn't have snowdrifts. There must have had either a bit more wind or a bit more snow. But there had been considerably more snow down towards the coast, especially around Gothland, where they're near the coast, and higher up as well. But even Whitby had a fair bit. They were all complaining in Whitby. I mean, I have some sympathy, but they were complaining, oh, the car parks and the footpaths, you can't hardly dare walk on them, which I agree. They're quite scarily icy and skiddy. But the reason for that, and Mr. Chippies is coming from Castleton, the reason for that is that people don't even attempt to clear it before it all gets packed on. And because like in Whitby, you normally get away with it, it only lasts 2 or 3 hours and it's gone again, being right on the coast. In my shed they're working on builders quite big pickup. I don't really call it a small HGV really. Anyway, the main thing he's got problems with, it's rather bizarre, is that the number plate light isn't coming off. The number plate light isn't working. You'd have thought that was one of the simplest things to fix, but for some reason they kept the first thing they all put a new bulb in, and I'm not sure that didn't work, or it blew the fuses. Blew the fuse. So obviously there's a short, which is not that unusual because it's probably the wire, so it chafed or something. So it changed the wire and linked it into the side light or something, and it still blew the fuse. It hadn't quite worked out why. They were a bit short of time yesterday. I think they were about sick of it because they were working all morning yesterday and it was -1 or lower and very windy. It was a bit hellish in there, to be honest. I couldn't, well, I'm sorry I couldn't have done it, but you'd need to be like bundled up in a, well, they did have all their overalls and things, which makes a big difference having an extra layer. I didn't envy you. But they have a sort of, I won't say industrial, but a heavy duty gas fire. and it puts out, I think it's at least 10 kilowatts, it might be more than that. And that seemed to be an absolute godsend, because they could keep, if your fingers start to get a bit cold, they can go and warm their hands up, because I mean, you fill it with little screws and you know, small items. You can't wear gloves if you wanted to, not realistically anyway, maybe them thin latexy ones, they don't seem to do that. Anyway, I think it'd been for some spare parts. I know this sounds ridiculous, but he'd gone somewhere to pick up spare parts in Middlesbrough, I assume, at midnight, because there's some specialised shop which is sort of commercially minded for trucks and things, and it opens at midnight. They're closed on Sunday from... they're even open on Sunday morning, but they're closed for a while, Sunday afternoon or something like that, and then they open again on literally Monday morning at midnight and 1 minute or something. So he'd gone down there to pick up these bits that he'd I think he'd pre-ordered them, it wasn't just hoping they'd have them. And as far as I know, he got them anyway, but he said it was horribly icy. He'd gone over the moor, it was thick fog, and someone had gone off on the corner and onto the moor and couldn't get off. I don't think it was too serious in that they were able to drive away when they got... He'd already managed to phone call somebody and get the... I think they'd come up with like a Polaris, which is really only a slightly heavy duty quad bike. And I'm pleased it's not icy anyway. So I've got I've got 12 lambs. I'm quite surprised myself. I thought, well, I'll see if I can get 8 or 8, preferably 10, and maybe a couple of yows. And I got a couple of yows, and then I forgot, not just 10 but 12. They're a bit of a mixed batch though. I started off, I thought I might get maybe 10 Suffolks, but it was... The best ones were the Suffolks, because I didn't take any of them last time. I didn't get a full load, and I thought, well, actually there's another 4 or 5 at least good Texel, so I've got a mixed bunch, which I don't like doing, but it doesn't seem to matter that much. And anyway, if they make similar to last week, which was in the report, they should be around £100 a piece, which it's not stunning, but it's not bad at all. We haven't had a great deal of feed yet, like it's only late December. Mr. Scott. I think it was him. I didn't honestly, I couldn't raise, I wasn't looking at who was driving it, but I assume it was, there's quite a few of them vans about. A Vauxhall Combo. I haven't even got my coat. I just realised I was going to bring a fleece out, just in case, but I've got another sort of emergency coat in the back which I've never worn. I bought it, God knows when. It's been in, I remember it being in the previous pickup, so that's more than 8 years ago, and I didn't like it. so I haven't worn it anymore really properly since I got it. It's quite a warm coat. I think I bought it in DJI. But it is nice to have you never really know that you won't have some sort of emergency. Even if you just conked out, you might be sat in a freezing cold car where you want a coat on, and I've got a blanket in the back as well. A bit unlikely, but it can happen. I wonder why that road's closed. It's a pity they don't sort of tell you why roads are closed, because you don't know where it's closed. You might want to go up to the pub, but it looks like you can't go to the pub even, which is won't be very pleased about. Well, maybe you can't go to the pub. You don't want to go up even with a pickup. You have to turn around in an awkward spot, especially when it was icy. Certas, formerly Eves. We used to get our fuel from them, but they started being more and more expensive. So I nearly always get it from DJI now. We always used to do, like years ago, then we started Eves. The thing is, when it was Eves at Whitby, I mean, for a start, it's not really a good reason to buy for it, but the rep was someone I went to school with, and there was a period that we started getting through that now. There was a period where most of the reps, a lot of the reps of firms around here were people you knew from school. This is a bit of a double-edged sword, because I wouldn't say you feel a loyalty, but you're a little bit more inclined to assume they're not trying to deal you or something, or giving you a good deal, because they know you. I don't know if that's really realistic or not, but even so, it's only human nature to be more inclined to deal with someone who you sort of know from when they were 10. But anyway, then they sort of got taken over by a more national company called Certas. They operate up and down. I think they're more or less nationwide, because they bought out a lot of the smaller ones like that. And things went downhill. First they were more expensive. You never knew who you were talking to. You'd ring them up, and instead of getting the local rep, you were put through to somebody in Newcastle, which is, well, you don't mind that really. It's still sort of local, really near Whitby, which is like 40 miles away. Anyway, something I don't think I mentioned it before. I got NWF fuel card. I actually applied for it in November. It took ages to come because of the post, and then I hadn't really been anywhere because it was too snowy or icy, even though my fuel was low. So I topped it up in Gisborough at the end of last week using that, and the fuel card price is for last week was 124p plus VAT, which came to 157 for diesel. Now that's cheap, because the local prices is about 177 or higher. But you're still using the local garage. The way it works, because I didn't know anything about it, you can say your busy times you might use if you're using your pickup more for marketing, you might fill up 2 or 3 times a month easily, and you can use the fuel card and get the reduced rate. Plus another sort of benefit is you haven't got to worry about these little slips that they give you for VAT, because you get one bill at the end of the month, and they do take it direct debit, which is a minor niggle, I suppose. But it's not going to be a huge amount. And you get the VAT on that one bill, so firstly they're amalgamated. But still, above all, it's a very worthwhile saving. It's not just like 5p or something. If it's 20p a litre, and this you could easily put 30 or 40 litres in. You know, it's not unusual to be, if you've let it get a bit lower, to be putting in certainly 70 or 80 pounds worth is possible. To be honest, it's normally about 50. But anyway, regardless, every litre 20p less. Although the after VAT it's a bit less than that, isn't it? Because I can normally claim the VAT back anyway. Technically I shouldn't do it with every one, because some of the use is considered personal, but it isn't very much. I go shopping about once a fortnight, which it isn't very far anyway. I might use about a gallon, I suppose, 5 litres. There's ice there. There's sometimes ice on these, well, any lake or water can do funny things. When it gets very windy and it starts breaking up, it can pile up on the shore. Couldn't see anything like that happening, but it was just, you just wonder what's happening at the sort of interface between the open water and the ice, a couple of inches thick. There's more snow left here. We're going to fly back because the wind's behind me quite a way, I think. So it isn't truly head on, but it's sort of at 3/4 front right side. Sure, I could see something like steam coming out of those trees. Like misty, something misty being generated among the trees. She's blowing a bit along here. You come along here and it suddenly gets significantly more head on as you come around this corner. I think these sheep are actually quite heavy. I noticed it before. They're pushing me down here quite a bit. Might be partly wind again. I mean, you don't normally particularly have to brake because it's obviously a steady way hill. It's not like you've got heavy cattle in. There's a van behind me. Every now and then he comes right up behind like he wants to get past me. Then I get up to normal speed and he slows down. He's way behind me again. And obviously you can't accelerate as fast as he would maybe like to. He's not using signals on there. I thought he'd be going into this farm. No. I thought he might be going in the next gate. I thought he was going to go in there. Seems to be struggling to keep it in control. When he did the little wiggly thing, I thought it actually didn't have indicators and he was trying to tell me he was going to turn. The lass having a pee on camera. Water flooding out like crazy there. I don't know what that's all about. That's got to be mains water. Well, is it though? Might be a drain. It's going back down the drain, but don't know what that means. $169 here, so that's really not bad at all. I'm a bit mystified why the fuel card price has gone up for this week. Now it's only 10 pence difference, but sometimes it's a lot more than that. there's more snow on Ruswarp Bank than we had. There was a spectacular picture of one of the worst days where there was maybe 3 or 4 at least cars had been trying to get up and had eventually come to grief and run back into each other or cross over the road and all sorts. I mean, not relatively low speed, but there'll still be some significant damage, probably still drivable. And then there was a bus trying to get up behind them, just stopped. All spectacular stuff. There's lots of water coming down the river. I think this garage will be dear this time. Once or twice before they were a lot cheaper, in fact. Oh, that's unusual. Somebody's there actually waiting. So it's 13 degrees down here. It does feel warmer. I keep thinking one day I'll pop into the cafe for breakfast. I've already had it.
Yesterday holds memories in time, for there she'll find her heart's true desire. Then she'll be a true love of mine. Yesterday holds memories in time, where spirit